Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Welcome.
It's good to see everybody. And, last week on the show, if you listen to the show, we kind of left on a cliffhanger. And the cliffhanger was all about DJI. And, Shawn has kind of been our DJI guy. And, DJI has still been in the news. And there was word that, you wouldn't be able to buy certain DJI products.
Before we get to that, though, I just want to say, Shawn, I am so very, very sorry.
What happened? What happened?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Stinks.
Oh.
As of last show, Notre Dame was about to go and play for the national championship. And it's just crazy because they were just getting stomped on it. And I'm texting Shawn and I'm like, Shawn, is there like a button you can press to like make Notre Dame wake up or something? Because this is just really not good.
Oh, that's no good. Sorry about that.
Yeah, they kind of had a rough end of the first and second quarter, and then a really bad beginning of the second half, and then the second half was better, but they just didn't get there.
It was too far gone.
Oh, man.
So,
sorry.
Hey, it made less work for me. So,
Shawn, I will say that I feel your pain. I was rooting so hard for Washington, and then Washington, which can run like 18 little plays versus a team that has Saquon Barkley.
He's talking about professional now, but yes.
Yeah.
But that was all they needed. They didn't need anything else. They just needed one dude and curb stomped Washington.
Yes.
Will you guys be watching the Super Bowl?
No.
No.
I have to, unfortunately.
I will watch it because it's on, and I like the commercials. But other than that, it's just going to be on in the background.
It's funny because if you think about it, in the last few years, whenever they were talking about a commercial, we would usually see that commercial before the game. They would run it, and they've been pretty quiet this year when it comes to what commercials we're going to be seeing during the game.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of teasers, like the Doritos one where they're like interviewing players from the Chiefs, and they're like, "Oh, which commercial did you like the best?" And they're like, "Well, I like that one." And they're like, "Stay tuned for the Doritos Super Bowl commercial." And that's just one example, but I've been seeing a lot of these teaser commercials.
Right. Well, do you have a favorite over the years? A commercial that stands out? I mean, there've been some good ones. My favorite Budweisers were always like one of the ones that I thought were pretty good.
I mean, I really like the Dilly Dilly, the Budweiser medieval ones, but
The Bud Light, Bud Light,
Bud
Dilly
Light,
Dilly,
yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, the Doritos always is a good one. I mean, they put a lot of money into it every year. I really enjoy those. I really can't say of a particular one, but yeah, it's got to be.
I did care. I did like the E-Trade Baby ones for a while.
Oh yeah.
The E-Trade ones, yes.
Those are always good.
The Breaking Bad ones from a couple years ago, those were pretty good, if you remember those. And that wasn't that Doritos, if I'm not mistaken?
Lay's? I want to say Lay's.
Maybe it was Lay's, yeah, or Pops. The Pop. The chips, and everybody ate them. It was a lot of fun.
But anyway, going back to what you were talking about. I'm sorry we got on a tangent there. But Shawn, Andy talking about the DJI stuff.
Yeah, you were teasing about this drone. What is the latest legislation that you know of that you could tell us when it comes to DJI?
It's all buried under all the executive orders that have been signed, so I have no idea. It was supposed to be talked about before President Trump took office, but now it's being held back. Nobody really knows. It's probably going to get wrapped up in some sort of tariff that he's going to sign in. Who knows? But for now, like we've been talking about it probably for the past 6 months, right? I think in the last 6 months, DJI has released at least 4 different flavors of drones.
Yeah.
Right. A couple of them have been iterations of the Mavic Pro, the Mavic Air, but this one is a new version. This is a new one that they have. This is a brand new line of DJI drones called the DJI Flip. If you remember the DJI Spark, which was probably 2015, 2016, it was really, really tiny. It had it had the rounded propeller blades on it, had a really short flight time, had single camera, no gimbal. So this is a parent version of that. That's what kind of my take on it is. It's the Spark with a little bit of an upgrade called the DJI Flip. Starts at $439. It's foldable. So when you store it up, the blades actually fold down flat, so it actually has a flat profile, so it could like fit like in a laptop bag, like in like
Oh,
if you
nice.
slid your laptop in, it could slide in like a laptop almost into a bag. So that's kind of the benefit of this one, is that it's super collapsible. But it's got your, similar flight times, 30, 40-minute flight times. It's got all of your similar resolutions and camera pixels and all that stuff. So there's not much different in terms of the technology. It's just the form factor. And for $439,
Yeah.
if you get it with just the controller and the drone, you use your phone as the screen, or you can get it with the RC2, which is $639. That comes with the remote with the screen on it, so you don't have to use your phone. And then there's a couple.
Would this be a good one for somebody who's never flown a drone that wants to fly a drone to get?
I will say that any of the DJI models that are reasonably priced are good for beginners. The DJI system is so good at flying itself,
Right.
that when you're up in the air, you can just let go of the controls and it kind of just hovers there, right? You can obviously manipulate that and get into some trouble if you're flying recklessly, but if you're being patient and you're being smart and you're flying safe, you're gonna have no issues flying these DJI drones.
And that price, that's a good price. I remember when, let's go back about 5-6 years, maybe even a little longer. If you wanted to get a drone and you wanted to spend $500 on a drone, you would get 12 minutes, maybe 10 minutes flight time. I mean, it was pretty bad back then.
Yeah, I mean, I look back to when I bought my first drone, which was late 2013.
Right.
I paid $1,600 for mine, and I got 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes on a battery.
Isn't that Justin? I think he ended up getting the Phantom 4 as well, but I think he crashed it, didn't he? Yeah.
No, I had the fan. Honestly, before I went and bought a DJI, Shawn was the first person I ever I talked to about it, because I was in the market for a Phantom 4, which was the one that obviously really didn't fold down, and it required a backpack size case to hold it and carry it. But I remember talking to Shawn going, hey, I'm about to spend this kind of money. Is this actually something I can fly? Like I'm concerned that I might be biting off more than I can chew. And Shawn, I remember, texted me back and was like, dude, these things literally fly themselves. Like, they will hover, they will return to home. They are the smoothest, easiest thing to control. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll try it. And sure enough, I mean, it was great. But the Phantom 4, it was a great drone. It's just that it was so bulky, and the flight time wasn't the greatest. So I ended up selling it on eBay to some guy in Indiana somewhere, not Shawn.
Right.
And then eventually, down the line, I ended up buying myself I think it was a Mini 3.
Right. They're a lot of fun. Now, under a certain weight limit, you don't have to get a license if somebody's
Like
thinking about that.
50 grams or something like that.
It's a half a pound, I believe. So, and this one does make note of that it's under the 250 gram
Or
mark.
250
So
grams.
Okay.
249 grams. So they're really fine tuning these and reducing as much weight as possible to stay below that limit to have them registered with the FAA and things like that. Now, who knows what the new, whatever the FAA comes out of all these executive orders and stuff, right? Who knows what the drone legislation is going to look like? If you were paying attention, Trump was already asking his security advisors, like, he wants to know about all this drone stuff and he wants it public. So
Right.
we'll see what comes of that, right? So who knows what comes for private drone operators in the drone business. It's to be determined, but I think DJI is doing a good job of keeping pressure on the market and releasing content where maybe others aren't being as bullish. And, if their name stays out there the most, whenever something turns around and you can get back into the market. I mean, outside of DJI, can any of you name another drone competitor?
Sharper image.
Right.
For image, yeah. Right.
So
they're out there.
Raytheon?
Yeah.
Raytheon?
yeah, right.
Whatever the Ukrainians are using. I don't know.
Although I think
So they're-
Raytheon comes with extra licenses and some ITAR stuff with import export.
A few things called
I-
top secret,
Yeah, I was in Best Buy and they had a few other ones that were available other than the DJI. They had taken down the DJI display, and then when I asked about it, they just said, "Oh no, we're just we still have drones, and we're still going to have carry the new ones when they come in." And then that was about it. But they had some others that were on display, and I can't remember the name of the manufacturer, but they were inexpensive. But just something told me they just didn't have that sturdiness that you're going to find with DJI's drones.
no, it's if you go to any amateur professional photographer, they want consistent, reliable flight time with quality imagery, and that's the only company that I know of that it can produce that is DJI. I mean, you have Skydio is another one that makes
there you go.
reasonable. Well, Parrot, if you remember, Parrot
Oh yeah.
was actually probably one of the first ones to make a drone. They made a styrofoam one that had the wrapped blades. That was pretty widely popular because it fit under that weight limit, and flew with an app on your phone. You had
Parrot had that drone that had big wheels on it. It was, and you could roll it, and then it would take off
correct.
the trip.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some other ones, but like outside of the consumer and prosumer market, you start getting into the agriculture business, and that's when you start seeing the other larger, more fancy,
Octoblade,
the octoblade.
octocopters.
So really, DJI, if you're not flying a DJI drone, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So
What kind of camera system is on the Flip one? At that price, it's probably not going to be 4K or anything like that.
no, it's got I have the specs up here, right? It's got let's see, their camera image. It's a 1 1/3 inch sensor. It can do 48 megapixel. It does, let's see, video resolution. It'll do 4K at 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, 60, and 100 frames.
Wow.
It'll do full HD, so 1920 by 1080 at 24, 30, 48, 50, 60, and 100 frames. So it doesn't have any high speed except 100 frames. So it doesn't do 120, 240, or anything like that.
Right.
And you can shoot log. So if you're a professional, you can shoot in log. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not a downgrade from like the Mavic 3, maybe in pixel count on the total image, like sensor size, but this is all way more than the average Joe is going to need for TikTok or YouTube or anything like that, right?
Right.
If you're doing it just for fun and you want to post videos of your kids or your trip, like this is going to be more than enough.
There's a guy on Nextdoor in my community that I live in that keeps putting up drone videos, flying over the neighborhoods that people live in on Nextdoor. But it's interesting. You know?
Well, so I will mention, right? You said he's flying in your neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
I will say, please do not violate temporary flight restrictions over wildfires in California.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there was these fires in California. They have all this aerial firefighting, and a drone got hit by one of the Canadian Canadian fire and
So would it
punctured
be-
a hole in the wing.
So would it be the drone hit that or the plane hit the drone? Which?
At that speed, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
but
it
it
did.
grounded
It grounded the airplane.
it grounded all flights in that area for a period of time. So they lost significant, containment on the fire, all
Right.
because this one guy was being stupid, and he got caught because he was posting it online. He had all these pictures of the area of the fires and stuff, and they recovered the pieces of the drone. They showed pictures of, if you look, just Google it, you'll find it. They
Right.
showed the damage it did and all that stuff too. So just don't be stupid. Like that's what I tell everybody when I tell them, hey, can I shoot this video? Can I shoot this? Just don't be stupid. Common sense goes a long way with flying drones. Don't be stupid.
Well, yeah. Isn't there restrictions to flying over neighborhoods in some cases where, you don't fly over someone's backyard, and see people out.
Well, there are expectations of privacy, right? But don't let people tell you that they own the airspace over their homes, because that is incorrect. You do not own the airspace above your homes. I am legally available to fly over your home. in the airspace above your home. Now,
Right.
I can't fly over your home and snoop on you and invade your reasonable expectation of privacy. But if I'm flying above your home above my home and I happen to see your house, totally legal.
Yep.
Right. Right.
And
I
don't
know.
shoot down my drone because that's also illegal.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Little harder to prove that one though.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so this sounds like a good deal. Is this available now, the DJI Flip?
I mean, I just wanted to put one in my cart to see what it cost. It's available right now.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Wow.
Are you going to get it?
No, no.
Not going to get it.
I don't have time or the effort to renew my license and get back into drones. Like,
I thought you
maybe
just said
once-
this doesn't require a license.
well, if I got one, I would get my license because then I could fly for work.
Oh.
Oh, there
But-
you go.
There are reasons why I would get my license back, but I just don't have the time or the effort to put into another hobby right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe once Max gets old enough and wants to get into flying my drones or my RC planes and stuff, maybe I'll get back in or get him one that's reasonably sized.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. We had some good comments last week from the show when we were talking about something that apparently touched a lot of people. And that was the removal of DVD Blu-ray drives out of laptops. And we were talking about, the reason being is better cooling. They would use that space for cooling, better battery. And the fact is that a lot of people weren't using that kind of media. Some of the comments were a little angry. Some of them were, we had one.
I know. I want to make a comment to John Doe over here.
Okay.
Okay.
So John, because you had mentioned they needed more room for graphics cards. I know what you meant.
Yeah, everybody knows you can get gaming laptops with graphics cards in them, right? They still don't
Yeah.
fit a DVD drive. They're big
Yeah.
and they're bulky, but they still don't fit a DVD drive in them. And yes, they make mobile versions of GPUs that take up a PCI Express slot. Like,
Yeah.
get on board, dude.
Yeah.
I don't understand. There's no graphics cards that are in laptops.
I mean,
this.
he's thinking that we're talking about like an HP that's got integrated graphics on the chip.
Well, sure, there
Right.
are those, but there are also dedicated graphics cards. I mean, I have an Asus ROG Strix Ally with an i9 processor, but it also has a 3070 Ti graphics card in it. And you're telling me that that's just one single chip soldered to the motherboard? No,
No.
John Doe, you're wrong.
Yeah. Somebody else wrote, might as well be a GPU discrete graphics, but legit GPUs with real power requirements can take up substantial PCB real estate.
Yeah.
And
Well-
Matt, you weren't that happy with that one.
Well, I mean, like, it kind of went back to what John Doe wrote of like, oh, it's not in there. Oh, it takes up substantial real estate. Gee, let's look at the size of desktop graphics cards that can't fit in some cases nowadays.
Yeah.
No flying monkey farts that it takes up space. Yeah, and that's because I can't say what I'm really thinking. Yeah, it takes up space. It's a shocker. Woo. But no, I'm sorry. Like sitting there being like, oh, there are no graphics cards in laptops, bro. Oh, they just take up a lot of space, bro. What I need you to do first off is go outside and touch some grass and then do like the most minute bit of research possible because GPUs have been in laptops for over a decade. My laptop in college almost 20 years ago. Anyways, that had its own graphics card 20 years ago. Like, I'm sorry, you've got four tech professionals telling you this, but you, the couch quarterback of John Doe, is like, no, man, you're wrong. Well, John, you're wrong about us being wrong. Megabyte me.
I think what they're doing is they're picturing that whole idea of that big graphics card. And that, a lid opens up and there you slide it into a slot. And no.
Sure.
They do have something like that, which is an external enclosure that you can put those desktop graphics cards in and then hook that to your laptop and then hook your display up there. And those do exist.
Yep, we've heard of those.
And also the laptop cards aren't quite as powerful as the desktop cards. I mean, they're getting closer to it, but you're never going to get the performance out of a 5090 desktop card in a laptop. It's just not going to happen. Maybe in 20 years time, it might figure out a way, But I do seriously have a 3070 Ti in my laptop. And on my desktop, I have a 2080 Ti, a whole generation before that. And my 2080 obviously would not fit in my laptop. But I'll tell you, my laptop with the 3070, I can't keep that thing unplugged. I need to have power on that all the time. If I try to run a game, a very graphically demanding game on battery, I got about a half an hour. And that's it.
I like what Nix said. I said, I don't want a smaller, thinner laptop. I want it to be big and heavy enough to bludgeon someone with, give me a disk drive, more USB ports than anyone. Cool actual use, and a headphone jack. I think a lot of people want that.
If
headphone jack. Yeah.
If I'm swinging my laptop at a coworker, I don't want them getting back up. Like, if I'm going to go to HR for it, I want to go to HR for it.
Or zombies. You never know, right? I mean, zombie could be coming in through the window.
I do like that we get a little bit further down the comments and we start getting conspiracy theories about big media.
Oh, yeah.
Big media got rid of the DVD drives because anybody that's fancy with a computer knows how to rip DVDs.
Exactly. Yeah,
or Blu-rays.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about that.
AKA handbrake and make MKV.
Or Auto GK, Auto Gordian Knot, if you want to go old school with it.
Canna Mountain had the comment, though, that I identified with. Nobody is wondering this except for my parents.
Yeah.
Now, it's okay. So if you think back, right, I have vivid memories of my mom buying a new CD burner.
Oh, yeah.
And me wondering what the heck the numbers meant on the box.
Right.
Because it was 16X, 3X, 2X. I was like,
2X, yep.
What did all those numbers mean? And then
what the heck is LightScribe?
Right. So it's like, I get
LightScribe.
it. So my parents, my mom understood all that. And like, that was the beginning of like my interest in like what that actually means and then learning about write and read speeds versus, all that stuff. So it's just kind of a fun memory for me.
It was pretty good. So it's good comments. Again, both sides of it. And I want to thank everybody for watching the video. And again, you can see that. You can find the link on our YouTube page to be able to check that out. We also had a comment about Project Zomboid, which was a good one. And I liked it because, Justin, you're getting more into that. And T-Bone Terra said, my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
And people are liking that. And with that, I don't know if you heard this week that they're talking about re-releasing Sims 1 and 2 for the PC. So people and I think it's created so much excitement in that type of gameplay that now people are saying, I want to play Sims.
Yeah. I mean, Project Zomboid is very Sims-esque, I mean, if you will. I mean, it looks a lot like the original Sims with like the kind of a 3/4 view. And we talked about it last week. And, since the last show, I mean, I've been playing it almost every single day. And, it's interesting because when one of my characters will die, because eventually, again, as I mentioned in the last show, your character will die. It's just a matter of when, not if. And my character will die to a zombie or maybe he got scratched by a bush and bled out.
Right.
But once your character dies, you can continue in that persistent map and then create a new character. So I thought, I'll just keep doing that. I'll just use a character for a couple days, have him run around, gather up a bunch of loot. I don't care about his health. I don't care about
remember where he stored whatever. It, right?
Yeah. And then as soon as that person gathers up all the loot and puts it back in my quote unquote safe house, then I'll kill him off. And then I'll go create a new character. And then I'll do the same thing, rinse and repeat until I got all the loot that I need to have. Yeah, but there's one thing I didn't realize.
What's that?
Well, I was playing my latest character and I was running around doing my thing.
Right.
During the evening, and I was going in through I think it was like a video store next to like a strip mall, whatever. And all of a sudden I heard the age-old sound of
what was it?
And all of a sudden all the power went out.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, wait, what? What's going on? And sure enough, no. I had to go finally look it up because I thought, whatever, maybe this little building, whatever, the power went out. Nope. After a certain amount of time, the power in the entire game shuts off, and so does running water. So now my refrigerator and freezer that is stocked full of fresh food and frozen food is all spoiled. and I have no running water. And so now my characters are all dying left and right because I did not plan for that. So now I'm starting a whole new game all over again. Because I didn't realize after about 8 days in game time,
Right.
the power and the water shut off. And it makes sense because it's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Who's running the power station and the plumbing, right? And I was like, oh, they must have just forgot about that and left it on auto, and it just, I'll have power forever. Nope.
Oh boy. All right, so it's Project Zomboid,
Yeah.
which is available
And it's
for
like
people to play
$20 on Steam.
All right. I'm going to take a quick break. Come back. We do have some listener questions. And I got a question for you guys if you're going to be camping out for it. I'll tell you about that coming up with Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Find us online at techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back.
So I've been wondering all week when I heard the news, if any of you are going to be camping out for the big event that has taken place now, or if you camped out, because the brand new graphics. So we were talking about graphics cards earlier. The brand new RTX 5090 launched this week. The 5090 and the 5080, and they said people are actually sleeping in tents outside Micro Center. You know, there used to be concert tickets or like Revenge of the Jedi or Return of the Jedi,
Call of Duty,
right?
the latest Call of Duty game.
Yeah, now for graphics cards. The thing is, and I kind of wonder, do you think people are buying these just to turn around and sell?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Some are.
Well, remember back, a couple of years ago, you could buy as many of them online. Like when the PlayStation 5 got released or the Xbox Series X, you got all the scalpers that would write scripts that would log in and buy every single one that they could possibly get because there was no limit. And so now and they would just turn around and scalp them on eBay for 3 times the price. Well, people started wising up to that, and retailers started wising up and said, no, you need to buy them in person, and you're going to get 1 or maybe 2 at the most.
Right.
And so now we're going back to those days where people are camping out, waiting for their opportunity to get it, which is awesome. I would rather have that.
I called it
Yeah.
like 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
When all this was happening, I said, you're gonna see retailers selling at the brick and mortar because people are gonna get so pissed about not being able to buy graphics cards. They're just not gonna buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to have all this stock sucked up by scalpers that's just going to sit there stagnant and not getting sold, not getting off the shelf. And nobody wants that, right? Yes, the vendor is making their money, but then their product's not getting out there. They're getting a bad reputation. It's bad publicity. So now you're seeing you camp out for this stuff, just like you used to. Like, I think the last thing I camped out for was I went to a Best Buy at like 3 a.m. to get the Super Nintendo Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
That sold out so fast.
Have you guys seen it's been about a week or maybe 2 weeks old right now at this moment, but if you go to YouTube and just look up Costco Pokemon, there is an amazing amount of videos of, it looks like Black Friday. People are rushing into Costco and buying these by the case of Pokemon cards, and I guess so. There's yet another edition of Pokemon coming out. Can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head, but the thing about Costco is that they're selling them. I mean, they got pallets full of them, and people are rushing in and they're fighting each other over these things. And so I went to my local Costco and I asked one of the employees. I said, "Hey, you all got that Pokemon? Did I miss it?" And he's like, "Oh no, we haven't gotten ours in yet." And I said, "Have you seen any of these videos of people just doing these crazy things?" And he's like, "No." And this was actually the manager of the Costco that I was at. And he's like, "No, I haven't seen anything." And I said, "Dude, you really need to look this up because this is really bad publicity for Costco. I mean, this is liability on Costco's part. If somebody gets injured in your store trying to get this," I said, I was looking at all these comments on the videos, and some of the Costco's are wising up, and what they're doing is they're basically putting the limit that you can buy pre-made in a cart and lining up all the carts and saying, "Take a cart, go." Like, this is your limit.
Wow.
Take a cart,
Okay.
go. No more rushing, no more running to the back to get the cards. This is what you can buy, take it and go. But it's the same idea as people are rushing in. They're not buying them for themselves. They're buying them so they can open it up, find the legendary mythical cards, and then go around and sell them on eBay for 10 times the price.
Do you remember during the pandemic, was it the 3090 that came out and people were selling them for 4 or 5 times the price? And then, now a couple years later, people that have them are like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I think what they did, they also just compared the new 5090 that just came out. They said the 5090, a single 5090 overclocked, would beat like 2 or 3 3090 Ti's.
Wow.
In SLI or whatever they call it now.
Now
It's SLI.
It is, okay.
NVIDIA does SLI, AMD does Crossfire.
That's right. Yeah.
Speaking of that, AMD, I mean, AMD is still a viable opponent when it comes to video cards. I mean, we get a lot of press with the, RTX, GTX, but when you look at the, what they're doing with the AMD cards, those are just as good, right?
I'll chime in on this one because I'm running an AMD card. When, as our listeners know, I rebuilt my whole PC stack a couple months ago. I've got a Radeon 7900 XT in mine, and I run Space Marine 2 on ultra everything, and I'm still getting over. I think when I was running it with my buddy the other day, I was getting over 120 frames a second the whole time I'm playing. One of the main reasons, I was talking to one of my other buddies, and he was talking about how he's getting a new NVIDIA card. And I was like, why aren't you grabbing a Radeon, an RTX card? And he was like, well, the reason why is because the AI stuff that I'm doing at home, I need the CUDA cores. And that is where AMD is lagging behind NVIDIA. NVIDIA is starting to dump all of their money into AI.
Right. Although it's very interesting with the story that came out this past week that China is developing their AI and they're using less resources than what we seem to be using. And they're saying that they may have found the niche right there, while all of us are saying you got to have you got to have this type of card and this type of system put together, that what they're doing is much better.
So actually, there was a story that just came out today as of the recording of this show. I think it's called Deep Search or Deep, what is it called?
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek is the Chinese AI version. There's a couple stories going on around this. First off, Andy, you're right. DeepSeek came out and said, hey, we can do this for pennies on the dollar. And that caused NVIDIA's stock to lose $600 billion of worth because of the people freaking out going, wait, hold on. We don't need NVIDIA to do this? And so NVIDIA stock took a massive hit. Second, what do you call it again?
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek actually suffered a massive cybersecurity attack today, and it took it down. Yeah, so there's a massive cybersecurity attack, and I have a good feeling I know who's behind it.
Well, yeah, we can't say that, but still, it's very interesting, especially when they say we can do this, less resources.
Well, NVIDIA put out a response to that, right? Saying, yo, you guys still use our chips for your, you're still using our stuff to do your DeepSeek. So, chill.
Yeah, but sure. But they're also doing it for a heck of a lot cheaper than what OpenAI and other companies are saying is required to be able to do this.
And I saw another article. I saw another article come out about this, that Meta, not one of my favorite companies, but Zuckerberg he's got war rooms set up with all of his top engineers being like, figure out why they're able to do this so much better and faster than us. Like dedicating tons of man hours to just being like, figure it out.
Well, OpenAI also made some kind of announcement that they're going to work on kind of it's an AI that if you use DoorDash or if you use any of the delivery services, you would be, interacting with AI to handle all of that. And from what I'm hearing, it's not that great. It's not working out that great. There's been issues and problems. And I'll be honest with you, and I kind of wonder if any of you ever had to make a phone call somewhere to try and get support. It's ridiculous now what you go through because of the AI.
Even in drive-thrus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. You pull into McDonald's, you're like, first thing is, hi, welcome to McDonald's. Will you be using the app today? And you're like, no. And then all of a sudden it's, yeah, how can I help you?
The two quick things on that. One tying back to DeepSeek for a second. The other thing about DeepSeek is that it's open source, and OpenAI started to make some comments about like, yeah, well, they're mining all your data, and they're like, or I can, unlike ChatGPT, I can just run it locally on my own hardware. So there's that. And something for our listeners that I love this website so very much. If you have to make a call and it goes to AI or a phone tree or something, go to the website. I think it's Dial a Human or Talk to a Human. And you can put in like the company you're trying to reach, and it will give you the direct steps. Yeah, Dial a Human. It'll give you the direct steps for how to get to a person. Ooh. Even if that's just like the switchboard.
Actually, no, I take that back. It is human.com. Talk2human.com.
There we go. That's what it is.
Talk2human.com. Now, Justin, you had told us one before where you could actually find the bosses.
Well, that was more of an email thing. It's called emailtheboss.org. And it's kind of the same idea what Matt's saying. Yeah. That's kind of the same thing. If you're looking to try to bypass all the levels of support and you just want to go straight to the CEO to complain, emailtheboss.org is a great place.
I don't think it's going to get any better. I mean, I really don't see it. As more and more companies rely on AI, I don't think it will get any better. I worry for the radio industry because there are, radio DJs in a studio where now it won't let callers talk to the DJ. It'll let them talk to the AI that has taken the request. They've taken the, what do you need to know about, blah, blah, blah. That's being in radio over 30 years. That's been like one of the best things about it.
Yeah, it's the connection with the people. And I'm finding that less and less I'm listening to terrestrial radio. I mean, even with the Spotify, about 2 years ago, they released the Spotify DJ. And that guy, I mean, it's an AI voice. It's an AI system, but it sounds just like a real person. It's more like kind of like a top 40 hip hop DJ, the way the person, the AI sounds. I should say person, the way AI sounds. But I can totally see that coming to a local radio station near you. I mean, I do still listen to like morning show radio because, they interact so much with the audience. But when it comes to like afternoon drive or anything else, a lot of times, maybe it's still done by a person, but a lot of times it's tracked. There is no DJ even in the studio.
No, not in this station. The one we're on. I come here every afternoon. I'm here, and it is rare because I've worked in other buildings. I've been in other buildings while radio's been going on, and that seems to be a common practice to track. I did it for Westwood One. I was on 70 stations across the country. And it's the way the industry works. They got to make their money, and there they go.
And you can totally tell when a station is being tracked because the DJ will start to talk, and they'll have the incoming song underneath them. Yeah. But the incoming song is actually louder than the DJ, and the DJ just keeps talking. And you're like, this is tracked.
Equipment.
This is tracked.
That's just bad equipment. That's not good.
Yeah. I mean, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, he said, when all the AI stuff started to pop off, he was like, we are in the new industrial revolution. Mm-hmm. He goes, this is going to disrupt everything. If you think it won't, you're wrong. It's going to disrupt everything. There was, I was reading an article. I can't remember the guy's name, so I apologize. I can dig it up later, but I checked his bona fides. He's been a writer in Hollywood for decades. And he was like, normally when you want to do a new movie, like a really new movie, not a remake or a sequel or something like that, you're waiting 6, 7, 8 months for a fully fleshed out script from 1 up to a team of writers. He went on to ChatGPT and said, I want 5 brand new movies, not remakes, nothing like that. I want 5 brand new movies, and I want a script for all of them. And he went back about an hour later and he was like, I had 5 movies across multiple genres with fully fleshed out scripts, plot points, everything. I was actually talking to my wife about this the other night, and he took one of them and read through the whole thing. And he was like, I had to make like 3 edits, and that was it.
That's it.
And my wife and I were talking about that, and we were like, well, for movies, yes, I can absolutely see that happening. That was definitely one of the big sticking points during the Writers Guild strike. when they were going through is, talking about AI and using their data and their property and things like that. The question for me was, when is AI going to be able to write a TV show? Because a movie is a self-contained unit and you can go all the way through and you're done. But when is a AI going to be able to write a multi-season long, 20 episodes a season TV show with character development, plot points, twists and turns? Because when that happens, and a studio executive can just be like, we need a new sci-fi show. Somebody go punch that into the computer. You don't need to go shop around for it. They can just be like, nope, don't like that one. Generate a new one. Nope, generate a new one.
Imagine this too. You can start your own network now. I mean, you can have your own TV channel. There are companies that can make it possible for you to stream content, the whole bit. You can have a hit show that can become grassroots. People love it. And this is crazy. You don't even need to use a cast. You can have it all created by AI. The people in it, everything. And that's the whole thing about this. It's changing so much in the world. Some saying we don't like it. I don't even like using the self-checkout when I go to the store. I mean,
can I play devil's advocate just for a moment, though? Yeah. When it comes to like a TV show or a movie, when is the last time, and be honest, all three of you, when was the last time you actually cared about who wrote a particular episode or who was the technical director or who was the executive producer of a particular show? When was the last time any of you cared about that?
No. It was more for me. It's always about the cast.
Exactly. Probably the Mandalorian.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mandalorian.
And when you had a lot of really good, famous writers and directors doing it.
Yep. Sure.
And
I can see that.
The one that I can go back to is Dallas Howard. When the episode that she directed, which if you go back and watch this episode that she directed, there is almost a scene by scene replication of Apollo 13 that her dad did when this coming back through, and Ron Howard when the Apollo 13 came back to the atmosphere and tracked through the atmosphere. So look it up; it's really cool. But that's really the last time outside of Star Wars stuff with
mine's a cheat because it's based off a book, but Dune, because I needed somebody to have the appropriate vision of grandeur and scale and the sheer mythos that is wrapped up in this book. I didn't care who the executive producer was. I cared who the director was going to be for that. I wanted somebody who could really gnaw the meat off of that down to the bone. And Denis Villeneuve did an amazing job.
And did you see the first one? The very first Dune that came out back, I want to see, was it the 80s or 90s?
1984, David Lynch, rest in peace. Yes, I did. It's outside of the Dune cosmos. It's a fun movie. But if you're comparing it to the book, I'm just like slamming my head into the wall. I'm like, you had Patrick Stewart as Gurney Halleck, and this is what you give me. God,
Kenny McMillan, man, was so good at that. Love that. And Sting and just great.
But, so I do, you guys were able to provide a few examples, and that's awesome. Great examples of that. But I would still stand by my point. For the most part, people don't care about who writes it, who's the executive producer, who's the technical director, heck, who's even the director. They care about who's in it and the plot. And so if AI starts writing these shows, and as long as we can still maintain human actors, I don't think people are really going to care all that much.
That was actually part of the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. Their strike was about, in their contracts, it was your likeness can be used in any future project via AI, and they were like,
even after you're dead.
Well, that's money out of my pocket. And it was actually the first time this ever came into play. Here's a random, weird bit of trivia for you. Crispin Glover did not want to come back for Back to the Future 2. He didn't. So they used computers at the time to recreate his presence in the movie. And he sued the monkey farts out of them.
Here we go.
I was looking for another chance to use it. He sued them into oblivion and won.
Did he win? I didn't think he won.
He won, and after that, it was a actor's likeness cannot be used without their explicit permission because he didn't give them permission to
I
use
thought
his
that
likeness.
was the whole Robin Williams with the Aladdin genie. He offered to do Aladdin for free or for the minimum amount as long as they didn't use his likeness in any type of advertising or marketing purposes. And Disney did, and then Robin Williams sued them and said, also, by the way, I'm never doing another movie for you ever again.
Wow. Did not even know that. All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. We come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Send us a X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
So, Rick from Saurita, did I say that correctly?
Yeah,
Did I get that right?
Yeah, you might as well move here now. It's great.
Sweet, I got it right. Rick says, hey guys, my 27-inch monitor is about to go to the monitor heaven, and I'm trying to decide what to replace it with. I do a lot of different things on my screen at the same time. Is a big screen better, or maybe two screens? Thoughts on what's a good brand? So I have done a couple of different iterations of my displays over the years, and it really depends kind of on what you're doing. If you need something that you need really accurate colors, like you're doing a lot of Photoshop, creative stuff like that, you definitely want to go for a monitor. Right. And we'll touch back on monitors in a second. Exactly. If you don't need that, if you don't need the pure accurate color recreation, things like that, for years, I ran off a 42-inch LG flat screen TV as my monitor for years. Eventually, I decided to change it. It was actually, I remember when I changed it, it was when I turned 30, and I replaced it with a 32-inch Samsung curved monitor for gaming. And it was better for gaming. It was, and the colors popped more. But for everything else I was doing, it didn't matter. If you're doing a lot of things on your screen at the same time, what is going to be the biggest thing for you is going to be screen real estate. So you have the 39, 49 inch ultra wide monitors. That's just this big old arc curving in front of you. And you can break that into two screens. So really what it's coming down to is like what you're doing and what's your budget. Right. Because if you don't have a budget, all right, we're going to talk about my dream here for a second, is the Samsung Arc 2. It is like a 55-inch monstrosity. The controls come in a separate attached puck, and you can put multiple inputs to it if you want, but it's built and baked into it that you can break this 55-inch monstrosity down into two screens, 4 screens, or just one big one. And you can also rotate the whole thing. So if you're playing like flight sims, it looks like you're in a cockpit. So I know this is a big dump of information for you, Rick. So mainly what it's going to come down to is like, do you need a lot of screen real estate? If yes, go for a bigger monitor. Are you doing creative stuff? Go for a monitor. Do you have a tighter budget and you need a lot of real estate? Go for a flat screen TV. That's kind of my advice on that, because sometimes when you're mounting multiple monitors, which is the other thing, that can also get frustrating as well.
I've been using a Curve 39 LG for about a year and a half. And honestly, I came from two 27-inch screens. I actually liked it better when I was using the two screens than the long curved screen. It was easier for me to move info. Now, I did find, with Microsoft, I'm running Windows. If you mouse up, say you grab your document and you go to the top of the page, you'll see different layouts. So you could do 2x2 or 1, 2, 3, and you could set those and just drag and drop and drag. It'll set those. But I liked it when I could just drag it across over to that screen, and that's always there. And then what I'm working on is right there. That's the benefit of two screens. But if you get a big enough screen, like you get that monstrosity, this huge one, 55-inch, you got a lot of real estate to work with, right?
Yeah. Personally, I'm running two Samsung 32-inch curved monitors, and I love it.
Wow.
Justin,
what are you running there?
I have just a single Asus 1440p monitor for the center, and then I just have two cheap Dell 23-inch monitors on the side, one being vertical, one being horizontal, because I really don't care too much about what's on the side. It's more just for extra real estate to put on like a web page or Outlook or whatever. It's the main monitor in the center, the one that I'm staring at the most, needs to be the better quality.
How about you, Shawn?
I'm running a 24-inch Acer, 144 hertz on the left, and just a straight up Dell 24-inch on the right. So nothing fancy. They're mounted to my desk on a stand, so they're elevated, so there's no stand on my desk, so I can reach underneath and stuff. So
Yeah, and you can do that. You can buy stands that'll hold both monitors if you're going to go with two. And the other thing I've seen is people that go with these 39-inch curves, that there's stands available that you could put one on top of it.
I did that for my wife. She had a 39-inch ultra wide, and her new job gave her another monitor to use at home that was about the same size. And I know the company. It's called the Ares, like Ares, the god of war, the Ares Wing. And it was a little fun to put together. I blame my dogs more than the construction, but she's now got, like, right in front of her is her work MacBook Pro. So the webcam's like directly in front of her. And then just to the right, she's got this ultra wide, and stacked on top of it is another monitor, and it's got articulation. So the one on top is actually canted about 45 degrees down, so that when she looks, she's not having to look way up. It cants just right. So with that angle, she just looks over and gets the full experience of the monitor right there. Like, that's awesome.
Perfect. All right. We can take another quick break. We come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. You can find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. We'll be right back.
Over the break, Andy was showing the rest of us that he got a shiny new USB hub for $5 at a shop Five Below. Yeah. And the thing that I love about this is he was like, look, I found it for $5. And the first question all of us asked her, do you know what's inside of it?
Yeah.
So, like, for those who don't know, and what I mean by what's inside of it, there was a thing done by the FBI a few years ago where they bought a whole bunch of random cables off Amazon, and they tore them apart and found out that some of these cables had a chip in there that was copying and sending off the data that went through it.
Really?
Yeah. So when people are like, oh, I got this great new thing for like $5, we're like, yeah, what's the company? Where's it made? Do you know what's inside of it? Are you going to crack it open and take a look?
So I'm going to have to now, right?
Oh, you absolutely are going to have to do it and send pictures to us so we can be like, Andy, you're not safe.
It is made in Thailand, and it has a USB-C, and it has 3 USB-As. I thought, wow, this is great. A USB-C hub right there.
And also a chip to report everything you're doing back to the CCP. It's great.
It's fantastic.
I found this. It plugs into your smartphone. It's a microphone. And
that records all your voices and sends it back to the CCP. It's great.
It has USB-C, Lightning. This was $5.
Mm-hmm. So the thing that we want to say with this is, like, we're not trying that is the weirdest microphone I think I've ever seen Andy pick up. It's an Elvis Stitch on a pure blue microphone.
$7 for this puppy.
Good Lord. But no, what we're trying to say with this is not like scaring people, like, don't buy discount electronics. It's more that you want to know the brand that you're buying. You want to know where it's made, to try and keep yourself safe. Everyone is getting sneakier. Justin brought up the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. They're getting sneakier. Russia's getting sneakier. Hey, shocker, America's getting sneakier too. And we are not immune to all of this. Right. So it's really one with these cool devices. It's like, I got it for $5. It's a cool microphone. It's like, okay, what's in your microphone, man? What's going on with that?
Yeah. All right, let me show you guys something ridiculous to wrap the show. See this thing? It pulls out, it folds, all right, and then you can put your phone on the slot in the back, and it's a magnifier. It magnifies your smartphone.
I saw that on a Disney show like 3 years ago.
I've seen that before. Yeah, this is crazy.
I think Andy spent a little too much time overnight watching QVC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$20
the items that he has are the late night things you see on QVC.
Andy's favorite channels are QVC and Hallmark.
I was about to say he had to be on QVC because the Hallmark channel must have gone down or something.
I didn't get you guys Christmas presents, so I was going to get you each a hub.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. I'll pass on that one.
All
Thank you,
right.
though.
Yeah, there
It's
you go.
the thought that counts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's Tech Talk Radio. I'm going to crack this thing open. We'll see what's in it, and we'll report it next week on the show. All right. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Once again, find us on the web, techtalkradio.com. Have yourselves a great week. We'll see you.